and lift off. Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of the Morning Post, brought to you by the Racing Post and sponsored, of course, by William Hill. Each and every Saturday, we join you guys at home, probably having your kippers, whatever it is, a full English. And we join you for the next hour or so, filling your lives full of all the best previews of the racing ahead. The markets are set now, guys. Whatever you've seen in the week, it's done. We know the weather. We know what it's going to be like. Just a bit of housekeeping for you. We wait, don't we, to see whether Newbury is going to pass a 10 o'clock inspection. That's right about now, obviously. So we'll bring that to you live. I mean, it's looking a bit tricky, I have to say, with that. But we've got Kelso, of course. We'll be going up to Donny for the races there. We'll look at everything Ireland. Good to see that Navan is on. Marvellous stuff, and plenty of Cheltenham Festival chat coming your way as well. We've got a boost for you as well, but I'll get to that. Don't forget, it's a like and subscribe show. Get involved on the YouTube. Let's have the chat. Loads of questions in today. Just the three wise monkeys for you. We're keeping it all in-house, all right? So that's what you do if you're on the YouTube. Get your thumbs up in. Have a little chat with the community that are out there. Dave Alton, thrilled to be with you on a rainy capital. Who joins me? Well, good to see you, Graeme Rodway. You got here nice and early this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, lovely, nice and early enough to even get in the cafe for a little bit of breakfast before we kicked off. I sent you a nice picture of my full English.
A picture of your sausage came my way. It did.
You were jealous, weren't you?
I absolutely was. I always have been. Robbie Wilders, who is absolutely on fire, I have to say at the minute. It's insufferable, old boy.
Thank you.
You're knocking him out the park left, right and centre.
Yeah, it's been a good few weeks, Dave. It was brought back down to earth this morning. As you can see, my hair's a bit wet. Always cycling to the office and took a right battering.
You look like you'd literally come out the shower. I mean, I come in, I had an umbrella, I was being brought in by my entourage.
Yeah, you look slightly damp, but your hair was intact. Mine was just completely
You've sort of recovered.
I think it's on its way back now. It's a bit messy and it probably needs trimming up anyway.
It is.
We're here.
All right, okay, so each morning we open up the trading floor for you. It's me doing the trading for you today, right? I've got everything coming your way. And the big boost is this, all right? Can we get it up? That's the question, all right? The big boost is Django Bay in the Grade 2 Premier Kelso Novice Hurdle. All right, Nicky Henderson, so much said about the stable form. The shattering news of Constitution Hill this week as well. 9-4. Out to 3-1. He's got a right old chance as well. I'm seeing him big tipped by loads of judges. Grade 1 winner. He's got a pen. If you want that 3-1, 50 quid available. It's live now on the site or indeed the app as well. We've got a flash boost as well. Nico de Boinville heading up there. 2 or more winners. We've got a flash boost for you there as well. And if you can listen to the producers, they can tell me what the odds are for the flash boost. No, I was expecting that to come up on it. 9-2. Would you have any of that?
No.
He's got a strong book, he's got under control, he's got Django Bay.
No.
I don't think so, no.
I'm tempted by it.
We'll touch upon it later, but not with the stable form.
Oh, I don't know. This happened last year, didn't it, with Hendo? And if you look at some of the SP, I mean, one runner yesterday at Newbury, it was sunk out of trace, wasn't it? But I don't know. I mean, should we get the Constitution Hill chat out the way? It's daily updates in a minute, isn't it? We're waiting for the next one, which is probably going to be Monday now, because the blood test came in, didn't it? After this public workout in the week, if you've been under a rock, Constitution Hill's participation in the defence of his champion hurdle is in major doubt. They all rocked up at Kempton, Michael Buckley and the press. I mean, it must have been hard on Nicky, that, mustn't it?
They can't possibly have thought he was going to work that badly, can they? Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken him there. And by all accounts, he'd worked glitteringly the week before. But very disappointing for the game, isn't it? I mean, we were very much looking forward to seeing probably the biggest star in jumps racing go up against Stateman, who's been absolutely brilliant since he got beaten in the race last year. And if we do end up losing him from the festival, it's one of the jewels of the whole crown of the week that we're going to be missing. So fingers crossed he makes it, Dave.
He was 4s on, 3s on. They were holding the price because of a glittering schooling session, I think, Rob, just a couple of weeks before. I mean, it was seismic news, and this is a horse that can go on the front page of any newspaper.
Yeah, I have to say, I was in the office that day. I've not seen so much sort of turmoil working in there for quite a long time. When that news came out, it was sort of quite exciting, actually. I mean, it's obviously bad news for the sport, but I mean, he's only going to run if he's 100%, so that's going to be interesting. But if he doesn't, I mean, obviously Stateman is going to be the one too, but the race does become that little bit more open and potentially interesting from a.
But bookies had no idea what to do, did they? They
question
probably
is-
still don't.
Dave, say he turns up, right? Would you back him? What price does he have to get to for you to say, right, that's a good bet?
Well, this is a great question, viewers, isn't it? What price does he go off if he turns up? Does he go off
But
that?
if he's weak in the market, then that's a massive alarm. But
Well, in
it?
exchange land, I don't know how much weight we put behind that now with the lack of liquidity and stuff, but that is still the first go-to point, isn't it? You know, we saw yesterday with Ballyburn, which we're going to get to, and the horse Mystical Power, is it, who might switch from the Bearing Bingham to the Supreme and whatever, and the exchange was the first barometer, because money talks. But what is he now, around about 9 to 4, something like that?
I don't think he's that big, is he?
I don't know.
I think the
I saw
market settled
twos.
on about 13 to 8, 7 to 4, which probably about right, really. But we need to find out more evidence. We're going to find out a little bit more on Monday when the blood tests come through.
Yeah. One thing we can say, and he gets a hell of a lot of stick for this, he has been exemplary this week, hasn't he? Because it's like turning up and finding that your bride doesn't turn up to the wedding.
Nicky
That must have
Henderson.
been. Yeah, he was. I mean, the picture that we had in the post, it was probably wind and all that stuff, and Nicky's had a few sort of visual problems, but he looked like he was crying to me.
Yeah, they all looked a bit rattled. Michael Buckley looked pretty concerned as well.
Well, this is the horse
you got to feel for him, I suppose, because they've been sort of waiting for this big day, and it's potentially just this illness has just come at the completely wrong time. And
A lot of people lost their heads, G-Rod, didn't they, on Twitter as usual? Do you know what I mean? Going, fully deserved. Should have run him in January and all that sort of stuff. Where he clearly wasn't right either. But Nicky has been fantastic with it since. Literally hourly updates if he can give them.
Yeah, no, it's been great, hasn't it? And let's hope it continues over the next, few days, and then hopefully for the week ahead. But it could be the lead narrative going into the festival now.
Yeah.
Will he or won't he even run Constitution Hill? I think if he runs, he will be favourite. What do you reckon?
I think he probably will be favourite as well. We had this with Isterbrack, of course. You wouldn't remember that, Rob, but it was at 2000 when he won his third. And on the eve of it, no one really knew. You can go back, find in the archives, you see the interviews afterwards, the relief pouring off Aidan O'Brien, because that evening he had an issue and they weren't sure if he was going to run. He was a fragile horse, of course. Let's hope Constitution comes back, whatever. If it was any other horse, he would have been scratched by now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
They won't be taking any chances with him, will they?
We're hearing that racing goes ahead at Newbury. Marvellous stuff. So we'll be taking in the Greatwood. That is the Constitution Hill chat then. I dare say that the community is already giving their say on this. So if you want to get your questions into the guys or give your opinion about it, we're here to give you a forum. Right, paper roundup. There you can see, before the Saturday previews, the Irish angle, which we'll be covering in-house. Henderson's Battle. You can see there 9 races on ITV, and it absolutely has been a battle. Tremendous coverage here at the Racing Post. The best festival coverage, Emma Lavelle there as well. Henderson set sights on valuable Kelso prizes as he bids to put Torrid Week behind him. Torrid. It would have been tough to find the right adjective for that, wouldn't it? Henderson says ground will prove key for a very good mare under control. We'll get to that. That's, of course, the Morebattle coming up at Kelso on a really good card, where also starring is Monbeg Genius. Goes on trial for the Grand National, all right? And you can get all of this in your paper this morning. Analysis by Keith Melrose there. And we'll be doing that preview for you as well, telling you what we think might win it. So stick around for the next hour or so. Johnny Deneen, well, your wish is granted, John. Navan goes ahead. Can we have a bet of the weekend? Yes, indeed. So if you want to know what Johnny's laying and playing, he doesn't just look at the Irish races, get involved. It looks in that little yellow square that he might have gone in the first at Navan. We'll be getting a word with the charming star it is, of course. We'll be getting the word with the panellists about everything Ireland. There's a Leopardstown card tomorrow. Here he is. What a picture that is. Can we just take a moment?
Just wondering when he had that done.
I mean, that's a bit Partridge-like of Tom, isn't it?
Of the whole newspaper rebrand that we had over the last month, I think that's my favourite part.
Some would say amateur, but Tom thinks that'll win at Newbury. Now it's on. Absolutely loves the slot. Bill Baxter at Newbury as well. That's in the Greatwood. Sky Cutter up at Kelso in the Morebattle, and Charlie Uberales, third in the Sky Bet last time. He takes in the Grimthorpe, which will be our final preview for you on Saturday. There he is. We couldn't go without getting Keels involved. His Saturday Scissors, and brewing up a storm. Ollie Murphy's class dropper in the opener is now finding quite a bit of support. We'll be giving you all the market updates as they go, all right? So don't forget the boost today. It's Django Bay, 50 quid now. Up to that, you can have it 3-1. It's all live on the site. Don't forget also, Let's give this a big push, shall we?
Please, yeah.
I used to love being part of this.
Through that last night, brilliant read.
It's the ultimate guide, of course, which is now out of the Racing Post. Unmissable. How many pages is it? Do we know? No, you chat amongst yourselves. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of work goes into it. Andrew Pennington now edits it. He does such a good job. And you've got every single race written in detail. You've got all the statistics. It's absolutely mad. 103 of your very finest pages. Matty Williams in there, all the great judges as well. Unmissable stuff. That'll be coming home with me. Did you take part in that?
I did. I am part of the expert jury. Many people would consider me expert. Many people maybe not so much. But if you want to read my views, they're in that Cheltenham Ultimate Guide, along with Robbie's, no doubt.
And if you don't want to read my views, you're in luck, because I didn't contribute anything to that.
You've just been solely concentrating on tipping something at the start of the week, watching it crash on the Saturday
I just stick to my
week.
Postman, mate. That's all that matters. Like, let other people get on with that.
It's a crazy week coming up, isn't it? But look, that's the Cheltenham Festival. We've got to talk about this weekend in its entirety. I'm starting to see the tide turning slightly away from the sole focus being on Cheltenham. I think people like Paul Nicholls really helped with that this year, but Christian Williams started a little revolution, didn't he, targeting the Ida and the Kempton race last week, all that sort of stuff. Some valuable races today, and these are for few of these will be going. Of course, the Morebattle does offer an opportunity to get a bonus. That's probably the last Cheltenham reference we're going to have. I don't know about Django Bay and all that sort of stuff, but let's get the Saturday previews up and find out what the guys think. So nice to have a nice weekend in its own entirety where all these horses would have been targeted at the weekend. What's the first race we're going to do then? It's probably going to be Newbury, I imagine, isn't it? And the Greatwood Gold Cup. A meeting, chaps, that often finds its place. I mean, the Greatwood Gold Cup has been run 19 times, and I think Nicholls has won it 9 times.
Yes, yeah, he targets it, doesn't he, Paul Nicholls? I always remember one of our great favourites, Azertube. He beat a horse called Izio, giving him ridiculous amount of weight, and then Izio came on to win this race.
This was the Victor Chandler Clarence House, wasn't it?
Yeah,
was what it was used to be.
A long time ago. Yeah,
when it was a handicap.
Yeah, and Izio came on to win this race and went on.
I was there that day.
Placed in a Grade 1, didn't he, towards the end of the season? So that was when the race was really strong. And it's always a really competitive, good big field handicap, and we've got another one this year, haven't we? And it's going to be a big test of stamina on heavy ground, you'd have thought.
I'd had a good look at this at the 5 day stage, and the market since then, as you're seeing with the Hills now, 7 to 1, 8 to 1. I was looking at for high stakes player, I think, Rob, who seems to be something of a winning machine for Tom Lacey.
Yeah, he's improved a hell of a lot, hasn't he? I don't know if he's necessarily the correct favourite though. I was sweet on Grandier Dam at the start of the week, still very much am. I was keen on him at Cheltenham last time. He sort of it was a weird moment. He sort of unseated at the first, but before that he had a really progressive profile, and he ran a superb race from £4 out of the weights on his previous start at Cheltenham behind Il Rodotto and Fugitive. Yeah. He's back on his correct mark now, and I don't know. I just think he's quite well treated. I think he's going to handle conditions better than a lot of these as well. His best performance was on heavy ground at Wetherby. Absolutely loves the mud. So I think he's a player, and. Yeah, I saw Siegel put up Bill Baxter. He was going to be second on my list. The price has gone somewhat now.
Is he not all about Aintree? I thought this would, because we're looking at, we're going to get to Kelso, where the likes of Monbeg Genius have national aspirations. So it is not quite the FA Cup final, if you like. It's a stepping stone to the real target. That was my worry about Bill Baxter. He hasn't shown that much.
This race is worth a lot of money. Like, it's probably worth a similar amount to races like the Ultimate and Plate. Like, I know Cheltenham's obviously like the prestige and stuff, but I don't know. I think a lot of trainers will have targeted this race for sure, and we shouldn't undersell it. It's a big pot.
You like Gemeron then, is it? No, sorry, a Grandeur.
I like Grandeur Dam.
Well, he was 4 to 1 with Hills. I've been keeping an eye. Like I say, I wanted to play in this race, and I saw the weather and thought, hang on, and I actually haven't, and I've missed the price on high stakes player. But he was your original favourite, so you're getting 11 to 2 now. Yeah,
I think that's pretty fair. I put him up at 8 to 1 at the start of the week. I think 11 to 2 is perfectly fair. I think with the if Bill Baxter drifts, I'll probably go in on him as well, because I think he does like conditions, and I think he's come back down to just a pound above that Topham mark when he won that, and he does like a bog. So
some other drifters in the race, G. Can Do Kid was vying for second favouritism. His best form so far has come on better surface, and Paul's other runner, Sasaico, who again probably forgive that last time run, and his Ascot form puts him in it. Market cannot have him at all. He's 16s now all the way out. I assume him because the heavens have opened.
Yeah, Can Do Kid, I think, has gone up in the weights as well, hasn't he? Quite a lot for some good runs this season. And I looked at him and I thought he looks a bit exposed in comparison to some of these. Bill Baxter, I've been disappointed with him this year so far. I thought he was going to take a step forward after he won at Aintree and really compete in top handicaps this year. And he got beaten first time up at Carlisle, didn't he? All right, he had an impossible task giving weight to the other two. But then he got thrashed in the Newbury race, the Greatwood Gold Cup. And he might well come back to form. He is also on my radar at the start of the season, but I don't like it when it appears to me they're going backwards.
Are they doing a bit of a Kitty's light with him?
It might be.
Do you know what I mean? Just get him running, keep him fit, keep him in a place. Mark goes down and then back to it. That's what I thought. I just thought it was Aintree, but Tom's obviously looking at the weather for him. He'll go through it, won't he? And he could be an attacking ride.
Yeah.
I don't know why they campaign him like that, because he is. I don't think necessarily he's a spring horse. I know that's his best form, but he's got loads of soft ground testing ground form.
What about some of the others? I mean, Cheltenham will like the ground. He's turning out quite quickly, isn't he? After what was a good run.
Yeah, I think he's the one to be on it.
Oh,
Cheltenham. Yeah.
You're not burnt by Pembroke then last week. That was your nat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that up.
Sticking with Dan, we've got Cheltenham coming up, and we're going to back Cheltenham the week before Cheltenham.
Yeah, I miss doing the live show with you because that's something that you would have really concentrated
to
on.
win. Yeah. So,
Well, he'll love the ground.
Yeah, he'll be fine on the ground, but he was just talking about possibility of Bill Baxter being trained for Aintree. But if there was a horse that surely has been trained with this race in mind, it is probably Cheltenham, no? Or certainly a big handicap at Newbury, because his best performance last season came when he absolutely thrashed a decent field there towards the end of this month last year, towards the end of March last year. And then this season, he's steadily built up. And last week at Kempton, I was there, he was a huge eye catcher. He was beaten by Golden Sun, but he travelled like the best horse in that race.
Did you back Golden Sun?
I didn't back Golden Sun. That was a real downside on the day, that was, because I just thought after the way he cut out Newbury the previous time, I was even like Keels was sitting next to me, Paul Kelly was sitting next to me, and he's going, oh, Golden Sun's going well, Golden Sun's going well.
Because it has been a project of yours. You napped it on this show once.
I did, and I said, don't worry, he'll cut out. And he never did cut out. But
well, Paul Nicholls for you.
Cheltenham on the inside was travelling beautifully, and he came up the inside, then he found a bit of trouble, and he had to switch out wide. And coming to the line, he was finishing better than anything. Another 100 yards, Cheltenham would have gone past Golden Sun, and he'd be coming here as a winner with a penalty. But now, he, as a result of him not winning, he's able to race off the same mark as he did at Kempton last week when he should have won. And he's got better form at Newbury than he does at Kempton. Oh, he's got a great chance.
So why run him at Kempton? I don't get it.
That's what I wanted to ask you as well. Like, if this has been the big aim, then why would you run him a week earlier for a similar enough price?
He's had an absolute shocker, hasn't he?
But this year that used to be what trainers did, though, wasn't it? If they were setting all set up for a big race years gone by, they'd give them a quick run and then quickly get them out again. It's only in recent years when we've seen trainers, we'll have to have 28 days, 30 odd day break. Maybe this horse has just come right now, and Dan Scott's gone, right, this horse has come right, there's a big race at Newbury, we'll go bang for that.
These are live odds, and I think he's just come in on the back of your say-so, actually, there.
Cheltenham to boost the bank for Cheltenham.
He's been rehearsing that. You could tell. See, he's had a full English for breakfast. We need to keep giving him a full English.
I wish I had my porridge this morning.
He'll be on absolute fire. Did you eat your gruel this morning?
I woke up too late, unfortunately. I had to cycle straight in the pouring rain.
You're brunching, are you, with your girlfriend later, probably?
Yeah, well, I always have to say about that, won't we?
Okay, all right, fair enough. Jetoile is the one that we need to mention. Ryan Potter, who was an old Rowan winner, and he won't mind the ground.
No, he definitely will like the ground, won't he, Jetoile? I mean, he was second. Was it second in the Tolworth, or he ran in that Tolworth, didn't he? Behind Constitution Hill, wasn't it?
Yeah, we are. We got the hill form.
I think he should be on anyone's radar as well. Like it's a good race. Dylan Johnston, he's a good £5 claimer as well. That helped Al Dancer out in the Coral Trophy last week.
Yeah, he is an up and coming jockey.
He did run quite well at Cheltenham last time, Jetoile, after a bit of a.
We're going off speed, but I've got a question for the viewers out there. Who's your favourite conditional rider at the minute? I mean, that's a great question. Let's have that. Right, we'll give you who is the best conditional rider out there at the minute. Okay, don't necessarily look at the table and all that sort of thing. Everyone's got their favourites, haven't they? I think Cameron Isles is the next.
Yeah, he's good for 7. Yeah.
If he keeps his head.
Caelan Quinn.
He's
gone down to 3 now.
If you're at Gary Moore's, you've got to be mustard, haven't you? So yeah, that's a good question now, I think. But Dylan Johnson would be on most people's radar. And what about Gemirond? Of course, Venetia Williams' form. We should be talking about that right now. Everyone thought she was in the doldrums after an unusually quiet January and most of February, and now she's back with a bang.
Yeah, and the ground, obviously, all of our horses love heavy, don't they? So they'll be going through it well, won't it? But
she'll be phoning the editor now if she hears you say that, you know that,
Why
because
she doesn't like that
not
idea.
really, I don't think. I don't think anyone really likes
but
it.
it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
I don't really care whether she likes it or not. It's just true, isn't it?
Well, Venetia, if you're listening, it's obviously because your horses are fitter than most people. We'll get it back on. But I love Gemiron. He was just touched off in this race last year. First time out on this ground, I think, is the problem. And I imagine not the plan. A lot of these don't have entries at Cheltenham, by the way. Grandeur Dam, I think, is in the plate. And Gemiron does have Cheltenham entries as well. He's a lovely horse, Gemiron. I remember we did the live show once one Saturday and I screamed him home because he was just pinging his fences. But I think we can move on from him today. Cue an avalanche of support at 10-1. Reminder of the tips then, Rob.
Grandeur Dam, Dave.
All right, okay. I think our stakes player is going to take a lot of beating. I'm not mad keen about the 7-2, but let's watch the drift. He's actually getting weight from his old rival Gemiron, despite the fact he thrashed him at Hereford. G?
Yeah, I'm on Cheltenham.
Cheltenham for Cheltenham. All right, okay. To boost the coffers. Shall we get up to Kelso? Tremendous day. The dueling Kelso's crown on the Scottish borders, of course, where we are expecting slightly better ground. And this is a really, really good day. A reminder, now just out to 5-2 from 9-4. So opposition is coming. Personal Ambition is the one that's really being well backed in. But this is your boost, your Saturday William Hill boost. It's out there, Django Bay. You can get 3s for up to 50 quid if you fancy it. Should anyone be taking the boost, gents?
No.
Nah.
Both taking him on?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't win anyway, these boosts, do they? Like, they've got an amazing record of getting beat, haven't they?
No, a couple of them have gone over the line. Yeah.
Well, J-Mac got it wrong a couple of times.
He
ain't usually that far wrong, is he?
Johnny, the producers are in my ear screaming. Hang on a minute, we're trying to sell this. It's your participation for the rest of these shows is in serious doubt, apparently, to the screaming in my ear.
Some of them do win.
No, don't you remember?
No,
what was the horse
no.
in Spiral under the inspired Frankie Dettori? Pulled Johnny Simpson's pants down. Everyone was on that. That was absolutely superb, and there have been a couple of others as well. But they started off with a bang, and these traders at William Hill, they are sharp minds, believe it or not. You've got J-Mac, haven't you, and Johnny the Judge.
Yeah.
And they kicked off. And loads of bookmakers that I speak to are like, we're surprised by how brave they are, these traders. It was Brave Man's Game in the Charlie Hall was our first one. Everyone just thought he did, got beat.
Yeah.
So, all right. Okay.
He's a value loser, though.
Who gets on the boosts, all
No
right?
value in a loser.
Yes, there is, mate.
No
I've
value
backed
in a
loads
loser.
of value losers.
No.
Have we been seeing any
loads of
tips
poor
coming in for
value
Django Bay? Did Keels put one up in this? I think in his Weekender column he might have gone for Django Bay, mightn't he? I mean, it's just class, isn't he? I thought last time, was it Huntingdon in the Sydney Banks? He behind, what's the name of the Ben Pauling horse? I should know this. Handstands, thank you, Rob. So many horses floating about, and Ben's got so many decent novices. Of course, I thought they rode him for the trip. And he just found a first run, didn't he? And he's coming back. He's a brave horse, I think, Django Bay.
It's just not my sort of like profile of horse. Like he's just like a penalised favourite with the stable out of form.
Is this a sign that they're going straight to Aintree after this with him? He's of course won the new Formby Hurdle.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't run him here. And then they got Jinko Blue, the same owners.
He's a dark one, isn't he?
For the Bear and Bingham, which would be sort of equivalent race to this. I think Alnadam's a big old price here. If you watch back his win at Kelso here 15 days ago, he struggled to find a more impressive novice hurdle winner. Like the time was really good compared to the other contests on the card, and he beat 2 very well fancied Northern Novices that day, who were fairly highly rated. He's got a really good pedigree as well. He started out with Charlie Appleby. He's like by Sea of Stars. He's got Group 1 winners on the dam side of his pedigree, and the fact that he did that on soft ground, all his flat form before for Milton Harris was on slightly faster ground. So
he was a Godolphin horse originally, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I
he
think.
was. I'm expecting a fairly big performance for him. I'm surprised he's drifted.
Actually, what is that, 8-1? Yeah, he is slightly on the side.
I think he's a massive price.
That must have been a sighter for this, mustn't it? Anthony Charlton, that's a fair old trip for him. And watch it back in your members club, guys, on your replays. He absolutely hoses up. He fluffed the last as well, didn't he? Still
he did. He got the rare sort of in-running comment canter as well.
I love putting a canter on.
You always perk up when you see that.
I love putting a canter. You have to sort of just steady yourself and go.
Yeah. It was so easy. Like, it's obviously not the same level of competitor as he's meeting here. But,
this is the start of the Nico de Boinville bandwagon. Of course, the Flash odds out there. Love the name Flash odds, by the way. I saw it on the running order. It's something slightly new, isn't it? What do you think of when you hear Flash?
The Flash.
The Flash.
The Flash, yeah, like fast, doesn't it?
The Flash, Rob.
Simple as that.
I think of Flash Gordon.
Quite
you see.
like that, yeah.
You make a good Ming the Merciless as well. You've got a bit of Ming about you.
I don't know the reference.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah,
Everyone out there does.
Bear in mind, I was born in '93, mate.
Yeah, Ming the Merciless. Look it up. Honestly, spitting.
I won't be doing that.
All right, a Flash odds, of course. It's a double for Nico de Boinville to ride. It was 9-2, and that's available for 50 quid as well. It's live on the app, or of course on the William Hill site as well. G-Rod, give us a word on this bad boy.
Yeah, well, Henderson's got a bit of a line, I think, has he not, on Personal Ambition? Because I think that Personal Ambition beat, was it Ginkgo Blue?
Yes, he did.
Warwick.
The aforementioned.
Yeah, at Warwick, first time out. He was very good that day, Personal Ambition. Then he got beat at Sandown, didn't he? And then he bounced back last time at Donny. And then Ben Pauling's got a line on the Henderson horse, with Ginkgo Blue, through handstands.
Yeah.
So, and they used to work together, didn't they? Like, Ben used to be Henderson's assistant.
He did.
So, got really, really good novices this year, hasn't he, Ben Pauling, as well? He's got
Yeah,
some
I think this has been his best season. I
Yeah.
mean, he's had a Grade 1 winner
Really
at Cheltenham,
good
of
trainer,
course.
actually. He probably should have some slightly bigger owners sniffing around him.
Well, he's the future, Ben, I think. He is the future. Also, trainers of that generation like Ben are now fully established and they're coming through, but they've got to wait a little bit, I think, for the big powerhouses to come their way.
But we haven't spoken about the Irish horse yet, have we? And we've got to bear in mind that the Irish win most of these sorts of races. And
I don't like this horse.
Why?
Because I backed it when it fell at Ayr, and it's won twice since,
so
including
you're
it
holding it against her?
Well, it's just a personal thing. I feel like I've been stung by
You're just
Bruccio.
pocket talking.
Is she going to win this then?
Yeah, Bruccio. Yeah, she's improving rapidly, isn't she? Absolutely bolted up at Catterick. And then last time out, running a 19-runner Mares Handicap Hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival. I mean, that far more competitive than a lot of the races that this lot have been running in. And she was going away at the finish, like she was really strong through the line. Like, give her another furlong, she'd have won that by even further.
I'm amazed she's 4-1, and for this, if you
Why?
go back, because she was beat. She was
the best
out
form
like
in the race.
She was out like a light when she fell at Ayr. It was a tired fall. I back to that day thinking she might
But
bust
how long
up the
ago
faff.
was that?
No, she must have improved like 2 stone since then, hasn't she?
Yeah, well, that's the positive, isn't it? I mean,
I
she's
just-
going forward massively.
I'd
She's
be
a
a
big
bit
Did only win
disappointed
that
if she won.
handicap off 116, but it is a very good handicap. She's up to 131 now with the mare's allowance. That puts her like in with a shout. Sure.
You're going for the double green, who just continue to go for strength for
She
strength.
gets
in
weight
fairness.
from everything as a mare. Oh, I think she'll win this. Bruccio.
If they haven't been considered a powerhouse before, and they've been around for such a long time now, Isaac Swain and Simon, they are having a right old time of it at the minute, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Bromley's doing it really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Extra places in this race. Look at that, 4
4
places.
places for Roundup, oh yes.
Cannock
That'll
Park
do.
is quite interesting before we move on. Wherever Django Bay goes, he shouldn't be too far behind. So
No.
I thought 14s was fair about that.
Yeah. Django Bay though, when he did win that Grade 1, which he's got the penalty for, he was going to get beat, wasn't he? By the
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
yes. So he's really carrying a
the
penalty.
Royal Bond winner.
Yeah, he's really carrying a penalty for a Grade 1 that I don't think he would have won. Anyway,
Sorry,
Fair
yeah,
and
Fair and Glory, yeah.
Farron Glory. But I
I
mean,
think it's too far out to tell, to be fair.
but Favour and Fortune, the horse that pushed him all the way, lots of judges fancy him for the County Hurdle, don't they, I think? And he's a very good Allen King horse, another resurgent trainer with the jumpers this season.
Yeah, but
that's for
we don't win many races at Cheltenham Festival, do we? In British horses. I mean,
Sure.
they're usually
Look, we're going to get to that
Ireland
later
win
on
them
in the
all,
show,
don't they?
actually. I think the Tide Mike Steens needs to raise his game. He's got some solid form as well. Tom Siegel has put up Sky Cutter in his Price-Wise column, and Black Hawk Eagle. It was a meeting to remember for his trainer last year, wasn't it, Kerry Lee? Because Nemean Lion took out the Grade 2 there. So what wins Robbie Wilders?
Yeah, I can't believe Southside has drifted so much. Like, she's not even on the front graphic. She opened up about 10-1. I think she's got a really good chance.
Were you checking if she was running there? Because you looked quite intent in your phone when I was talking there. I could see
Yeah,
it.
I've been spinning through our race card here. She's out to 25-1. I can't believe that. It's got a really good record fresh.
Did you put this up at the start of the week?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, because
I
it
wasn't
would be
sure
a
if she
rare
was-
drifter for you.
I wasn't sure if she was going to run, but she's been on my radar to run like first time out. She's got a good record fresh. Last season, off like 300 days off, she finished second to Epatont in the Yorkshire Rose, which is obviously something under control's recently done. Finished second in the Yorkshire Rose first time out. We haven't seen her since she ran the Scottish Champion Hurdle. She was £4 wrong that day. Fifth to Rue Bowes, obviously gone on and won a Grade 2. I think she's on pretty good. She's off 126. Daryl Jacobs got a fair record for Brian Ellison. I think
Yeah.
she's a massive price, but I think Black Hawk Eagle is the most likely winner for me. Kerry Lee is a very, very good trainer, and she's on fire. 4 from 5 in the last 2 weeks. Perfect 1 from 1 at Kelso the last 5 years. This horse has just been really progressive over hurdles. He was quite smart on the flat for Noel Mead. Got up to a rating of 81. Good stayer. Sort of ran no race on his first start hunting them, and then he's looked a completely different beast. He beat a horse called Georgie Girl, who's come out and won twice in a race at £18 higher now. And he just won so easily at Hereford last time to tee him up, get him up enough in the handicap for a race like this. And I just think this has surely been a sort of long-term aim for such a good target trainer. And Black Hawk Eagle will go very close for me.
It's hard to knock that argument, isn't it, I think, G?
Yeah, she's fine, isn't she, Kerry?
Yeah. Eastern Kalina, etc.
Yeah, the one winner that I did tip this week, Eastern Kalina. Tough week.
Cheltenham for Cheltenham this week, though. So.
Yeah, well,
quite right.
You know, you can't win them all. You know, I did tip Forward Plan on this show last week, just to remind you.
Keep coming back, and no one else is going to blow your trumpet, man.
No, exactly.
That's for sure.
I tell you, I backed Benson anti-post on Monday because I thought that if the ground came up really testing, he'd have a huge chance here. Like you said, he won it last year, and he really shaped up well for the race with a good run at Musselburgh last time and a bunched finish. The problem is, of course, as you've already mentioned, is it's not been raining quite as heavily at Kelso as it has in my, around my house and around your house down Berkshire way. It's
Costa del Bucks.
Yeah, it's they haven't had the rain that I thought that they might get, and we've all had down south. So as a result, I've tipped Bingu.
Oh, okay, Jimmy Moffat's horse.
Yeah, Bingu.
Right.
And it hit the jackpot. Bingu.
You sat there having your fright thinking of these puns this morning.
Saturday, so today obviously it was, the going stick at Kelso is 6.2 all over. That's not bad at all.
No.
If you think Newbury will be about 3 today, which is the lowest end, as we're going towards, heavy ground. We're talking about what should be a sound surface. It dries quite quickly up there. Windy old place, the Borders.
I suppose you could throw the same argument about the ground at Bingu.
Do you like Kelso?
I've never been to Kelso, but it always looks really nice there, doesn't it?
I've been to Scotland, mate.
Haven't you?
Actually, no, that's rubbish. I've been once, but.
Why
I don't know
have you erased that
know.
from your memory?
Edinburgh's pretty. Give them their dues. Edinburgh's quite a nice place.
Not Scotland, is it, though? No, that's what the Scottish people say, isn't it? Edinburgh's not Scotland.
I think they do the best breakfast north of the border.
Really?
Yeah.
You've had a few breakfasts
Irish
in your
people
time,
were going mad about that. As you know, I well have. Indeed. I'm on a Weetabix regime though at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love it. Yeah.
You know what my nan does? She, this is absolutely bizarre. She puts butter on her Weetabix.
Oh my!
Nanny Jan.
Be trying that.
What camera is it? You should be ashamed of yourself.
It's your usual camera, Rob, that you've been using for about 2 years. Yeah.
He'd be
I've
trying.
got the wrong camera there.
I think you did originally.
Get a social, clip that up and send it on to Jan later.
Butter on your
it's
Weetabix. Have a word.
Strange lady. Weird lady.
It's a weird one.
Vegans.
She's not vegan.
All right,
She's
okay,
chicken.
all right. Anyway, we digress. What are you having for your breakfast out there? All right, so Black Hawk Eagle to swoop for Robbie Wilders. Bingu.
Bingo.
You're going to be calling it out at 250. I thought Ballygeary might go well at a price, and any harm in asking. And you can see there, look, just coming up, Bass Rock hasn't worked out for him over fences, but Raymond Anderson Green, one of the top Scottish owners, he will be there in situ, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just had a little one eye on this as well. I think what price does Under Control go?
Well, it's going to depend on what Django Bay does earlier. Like I'd say if you're sweet on Django Bay, I would consider doing a kind of multiple on Henderson, because the rest of them will go off a lot shorter if he wins well.
You want to be taking the flash odds then suddenly as well?
I won't be doing that, but I think there have been worse multiples.
We've got 6 places. It's a massive field, isn't it? The Morebattle. 6 places. Love to see it. Here on the Morning Post with William Hills. All right then, okay. What price is Bingu then? We can't even see that on there. I'll check on the app actually. So a reminder, we're boosting Django Bay. Was 94 out to 3s, £50 max. You knock that over, please. I think that's a very fair offer. And I think what price? Okay, let's play the game. If Django Bay hoses up, what price does this crash to? What price should she be? If Henderson's in rocking form, You know, everything's fine. What price? Because that Iberico Sandown form, that Iberico Lord Sandown form that wins this race.
Still an 18-runner handicap hurdle, though, isn't it? Things go wrong. But I mean, yeah, if she replicates that level of form, she's got a massive chance. But
All right.
I still think Black Hawk Eagle's probably just as.
Just a quick word on Sky Cutter now with Dan Skelton, Tom Siegel.
Yeah, got a chance, hasn't he? Well, quite well handicapped, to his own, his best form. But yeah, it's one of those races, isn't it? Wide open.
You could make a gif out of that sound you just made, I think, or something like that. You're not sure, basically. All right, okay. What are you sure about in the 250? Who's getting 6 places up? I think we can manage that, can't we? Let's move on then, because always a fascinating race, this Premier Listed Chase. And we're looking at a case of cloth cap here, aren't we, with Monbeg Genius, who, of course, has got some outstanding form. Very good run when last seen at Newbury, albeit a while ago. They've roughed him off for the winter. John Joe's form is interesting. You should never, according to my handbook, trust John Joe's form, a bit like what Nicky's looking at the minute. He's having very well backed bumper horses that win. But yet the other horses look kind of looking a bit out of it. John Joe was always one of those trainers, you know, and jackdaws, where they'd look bang out of form and then all of a sudden the handicappers would start winning at Cheltenham, wouldn't they?
Yeah, could be by design. With John Joe,
What was the great...
There's always a plan, isn't there?
What was the horse that kept... Well, is it Holywell, wasn't it? He always used to look terrible form and then would come alive at the festival.
He was a spring horse, though.
Does this win the Grand National, do you think? Monbeg Genius?
Not sure about the Grand National, but should be hard to beat here, shouldn't he?
I totally agree.
I mean, this is a race that you can go over and overcomplicate and as many times as you like, but a lot of those funny old horses in behind him in the market, and right.
Oh, right, yeah, not for me.
Doesn't finish his races.
It's not.
I know Keels has put him up, but
it's not legal to dislike Right because he's tremendous animal, but he hasn't won since 21, and he's thrown a few away, isn't he?
He's definitely thrown a few away.
2021, really.
Yeah, I had to go down.
Thunder Rock. Oh,
ooh.
You know, just.
Yeah, we were all over him for the December Gold Cup, weren't we?
It's since then the wheels have come off.
Beaten after a fence.
Yeah, he was eye-catching at Musselburgh last time.
But it looked like Tamuras was the boost last week, of course, on the show. And Harry Cobden did everything he could to lift him over the line. But as we saw yesterday at Lingfield, there was a moment when a horse, what was his name, the horse? He just didn't want to move, did he? Are you watching that? On that card, there was a horse, I can't remember his name, everyone was screaming at the screen. He didn't want to move, and Marco Chiari could do nothing. And we were delayed for about 15 minutes, and then the horse just ambled off going the other way from the stalls. Some horses just don't fancy it, and Thunder Rock, to my mind, has become a bit like that.
Yeah, he is a funny horse, Manila Drama. Funny horse.
He's got the form to win
Loads
this
of ability. Loads of ability. Does he stay this far?
That's the question. I think they're sort of rolling the dice, and this is a race I would associate, Rob, with Donald McCain's yard. This sort of race.
Sure, yeah. Manila Drama's been placed to pretty decent effect throughout his career. I think he's probably worth a go over this trip. He's got a bit of point-to-point form over further. I don't know if that means loads, but the reality is he's the highest rated horse here, and he's getting weight from a lot of them. So I think he's perfectly fair price there. The one I put up at the start with was L'Aronimie in anticipation for this cutting up. Now she hasn't run over 3 miles yet, but she's normally pretty strong at the finish, over 2.5, and her last 2 runs. I know she has been well beaten, but off similar terms to horses Brides Hill and Limerick Lace, who are 3rd and 4th favourite for the Mayor's Chase. She's getting a lot of weight here. I could see her going well. But I don't know, Monbeg Genius has been a right old drifter as well, hasn't he?
I'm getting my trader hat on because I'm going to see what price he is for the Grand National. But this is the cloth cap route, isn't it?
I was coming in today and I was expecting this would be the boost. I thought that J Mac would be desperate to take
He's running scared from the Genius.
Monbeg Genius, because coming in off the layoff, people thinking this is a prep run for the Grand National, and J Mac has let me down. He's not boosted it out, which is a shame because I would have been bang on that boost had it been Monbeg Genius, because I think that you can overthink this race, overthink it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a Grand National prep. Yes, he's coming off a 91-day break.
Yeah.
But that form last time out when 3rd in the Coral Gold Cup, I couldn't see any of this lot, Thunder Rock and Right and Manila Drama, being anywhere near good enough to finish 3rd in the race as hot and competitive as that one.
16-1 with Hills this morning as it stands for the Grand National. You remember when Cloth Cap won this race? And we went 9-2 or something balmy, didn't he, for the Grand
Yeah,
National?
'cause
Unfortunately, he had a breathing problem, which was scuppered his
He
chances.
was a stone well in or something.
After he won this.
Yeah,
Many
it just depends on
Clouds
the
has done
style,
this.
The style, if he does win the style, he wins. If he just scrambles home, he's not going to shorten much.
Let's not forget, like he's really well handicapped for the Grand National on that form of last season at Cheltenham.
Oh, yeah.
Chased home Corach, Rambler,
Fast
and
or
Fast
Slow.
or Slow. Who were basically 2 Grade 1 horses. He was third behind them. So
And he'll get in the race.
You're getting a better price now, mate, because I'm sure he's about 6-5 at one point.
He's gone out to 2 to 1, so opposition's coming. It looks like is being supported here. I sort of said that with a bit of a laugh, but he hasn't won since 2021. But he does love Kelso. That's the
He's
thing.
probably the one horse that probably will run his race, to be fair, out of that group.
3 places here instead of 2 you're getting as well with Hills. So you're hoping that you'd like that about your mare then?
Yeah, I do, yeah. We're on her for 3 places. I think she won't be too far away if she stays. So that's
Elvis Mail's another local horse.
he loves it at Kelso. He is so talented and he loves Kelso, and he will travel beautifully. It's just sometimes he throws in weird, dodgy jumps and gets himself in a mess.
He's grey.
He's grey. He doesn't always jump that well for a grey. But he loves Kelso. He could easily blow the race apart if he's on a going day, but he's a funny old bugger. So I would rather back Monbeg Genius.
My son said to me the other day, why do grey horses always seem to win, Dad? And I thought that G would have been WhatsApping him or something. So there you go, you got it here. There's breaking news. A grey that doesn't jump that well.
It's a weird
says Graeme
theory,
Rodway.
isn't it?
It's a weird theory. All right, that is the Premier Kelso race then. That's Kelso done and dusted. We're Monbeg Genius.
Monbeg
I
G-Rod.
think 2's a knocker. All right.
Monbeg G-Rod.
Monbeg
Oh,
G-Rod.
yes.
Magnificent. Anything but a genius, you might be saying out there. Let's get the final Saturday race up. It is one of the jewels in the crown in Doncaster jump season. It's the Grimthorpe chase. We often see the Sky Bet, of course, earlier in the season, last month or whatever it was. And we got the third here, Charlie Uberalis from that, coming out. He's crashed. He was about 11-2 yesterday. 11-1, sorry, yesterday. Now 13-2. That means that some scope, the Fav, is finding some opposition because it looked at the start of the week, Robbie, as though this some scope was going to have the market all to himself. Gone up, was it £7 for his last
He has
win?
shortened a little bit, though, to be fair. He's quite short for a race like this. He's been impressive on his last couple of starts, hasn't he? But so I just looked at this and thought there are quite a few plausible winners. So for that reason, I wasn't really itching to put anything up. Came down on Certainly Red. Just quite like the horse. Was on him last time at Sandown. And just the way you finished on an absolute train over 3 miles there. Get another 2 furlongs here. What's the ground going to be like at Doncaster, though? Because we were chatting to Melrose yesterday. He seemed to think it's going to be softer than they've advertised.
Hold that thought.
Never
I'll get an update from the
Never
Racing
that
Post
soft
website.
though. It never gets that soft
That's
at
true,
Doncaster.
that's
It's
true.
one of those places, a bit like Kempton last week.
Yeah.
A lot of people going in last week saying, "Oh, we'll kind of have this also at Kempton on that sort of ground," and then. The Times actually suggested last week at Kempton the ground wasn't that bad at all. And like all these tracks that Nicky Henderson likes, Doncaster, Kempton, he doesn't run his horses at places that get really bottomless.
Yeah.
And Doncaster is not a place that gets really bottomless. So it wouldn't surprise me, even though there's had a lot of rain, it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't ride as slow as people think it's going to.
It's been a little bit of rain there seemingly overnight because the going sticker's marginally gone lower, but it was 6.0 yesterday. It's now 5.8. You're talking about good to soft in places, aren't you? I think, which is exactly what they're advertising on the tin. You're right. A lot of people go to Donny, don't they? Do you remember when we had the dry winters? They couldn't ever get a meeting on because you just had such small fields there. It was always too quick and stuff. So yeah, it's a drying track, the Town Moor. What do you like in this race?
I like Charlie Uberalis. I obviously like the form of the Great Yorkshire Chase. Donny last time. I mean, I was with Forward Plan last week, as I've said 5 times already. And I'm going to stick with the horse who finished just behind him. In the Great Yorkshire, didn't he, Charlie Uberalis?
Ern River.
No, Charlie Uberalis.
Yeah, Ern River was behind.
Yeah,
Oh,
River was 5th, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he loves Doncaster. I thought you were leading up for the Ern.
No, Charlie Uberalis was 3rd. wasn't
You're
he?
jumping on Tom Siegel, basically.
talking about?
Well, the
Tom
producers are in
Siegel
my head
jumped
there.
on Rodway's bandwagon.
Yeah.
Monbeg Genius.
I actually couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it when I saw that Charlie Uberalis was double figures yesterday. Obviously, Tom Siegel's ruined that now. I think he was only that sort of price. He was trained by Diane Sayer, and maybe she's not a bigger name as some of the other trainers in the race. But he's got the form that stacks up with the best of them. That was 3 miles last time in the Great Yorkshire. This is 3 mile 2 furlong, but it's the same track. Similar sort of ground. If he runs to that level that he did last time, I think he'll win.
A few better riders around Donny than Sean Quinlan as well, I think you'll find.
He's off a lightweight, isn't he, as well?
Some scope at 5-2 doesn't really do it for me. When he was 7-2, it's hard to knock it. He could be the next fugitive, couldn't he? Richard Hobson was on TV this week saying, look, he was actually quite subdued, but I think he's very excited about him. Fugitive's now rated like 150 odd, probably going to go as an outsider in the Ryanair. Very talented horse, same connections, of course. This guy's just going up and up and up. If you look at his form, I think he beat a horse, what's it called? 2 Shots to Takeda. Catterick 2-back. It's now rated about nearly a stone higher after a facile win there earlier in the week under Brian Hughes. He's got some really, really good form. He looks like a rock-solid favourite, and he kind of is controlling the market still. Well, I'm tempted to, because he's that good, but I don't really want to back him at 5-2, because there are horses in there that I like as well. I like certainly Red as well. He's been a great warrior over the years, isn't he?
He'll win something decent soon.
Under supervision is Drifting. It was put in early, because this is his race, right?
Yeah. I think Twist and David said he might run in the Kim Muir as well, but he did run well in it last year, didn't he, before?
He's just shown very little. P3P are his form, but this is when he comes alive and he's off the same sort of mark. I was surprised to see him drifting. Java Point?
Yeah, I was with him last time, wasn't I, at Sandown when he won well. Ben Jones is absolutely flying, isn't he? I did feel that he'd been teed up for that race at Sandown last time. Like, he'd had a prep run at Newbury in quite a hot race and shaped well. And I thought he maybe peaked last time. He obviously gone up in the weights. I just wonder if that is a slight concern going into a stronger race here as well. All
right, OK. That is the Saturday previews done. A reminder of the final tip. G-Rod?
Charlie Uberales.
Charlie Uberales.
It's a reluctant nod for certainly Red.
All right, OK. I think the Fav will take a lot of beating, but I'm going to sit it out unless it's on the drift. And let's see what the ground's doing come 3:40. Great stuff. There is Saturday previews. What are your naps? We're yet to hear from any of you out there. That's aimed at the producers as well somewhat. But we're going to take a little breather here before we ramp up the pace for the business end of the show. We've got the naps to come. We're going to take a look at Ireland as well and the Cheltenham handicaps after we give you some free access. Here we go. All right, free access all the way. We're having a bit of a giggle. OK, right, we're going to move on now. What are we doing? That's the question, isn't it? Are we going to look at the Irish angle now? That's probably what we're doing.
Yeah, that sounds like it's next.
We usually
on the
have Johnny or DJ on to do this, but it's in-house today that we're looking at.
Well, we have got another Irish expert alongside me.
He's chucked me under the bus, isn't he?
When I met you basically told me you were the Irish expert at the Racing
I was
Post.
more into Irish racing back then. It's just become so much harder to carve out angles in. Like, the higher class races are dominated by Willie Mullins.
Well, we've got Navan today. A reminder that Charming Star is Johnny Deneen's best bet. It's been wackoed in the first.
Price is that?
It's 13-8 on at Hills now.
Okay.
So that is that. I mean, well, there was bits of evens around yesterday. Willie Mullins is not going to have his best horses running this weekend. We've got Leopardstown tomorrow, of course, as well. Special Caddo is a warm order a little bit later on, but he's been a bit disappointing. But if you've got a horse that wants to go to Fairy House, say, at Easter,
yeah,
you're going to be getting them out now, aren't you?
It's perfect stepping stone, isn't it? Like, Blood Destiny is still a very good horse. Like, look at what he did to Hartwood on his beginner's chase debut 2 starts, but it jumped superbly.
This is in the Flying Bolt today. This is 3:48.
That's quite an interesting race, actually. I'd have it's Blood Destiny against Spillane Tower. Spillane Tower beat him last time, but it was over further. He just looked like he relished the longer trip a bit better than Blood Destiny did.
I'm a big fan of Spillane's Tower.
That's definitely a race to watch. I've actually, quite embarrassingly, backed Blood Destiny for the Arkle a while ago, but it looks like he's obviously not going to run in that. I thought he had a squeak in an open year.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, this is apparently going to team up for that Ryanair Gold Cup at Fairy House. That Fairy House meeting is still a good meeting.
Very good
meeting. This would be a nice little stepping stone.
Brilliant meeting. Yeah. Have you been with Spillane's Tower? Jimmy Mangan's got himself a right one here. They always ruled out Cheltenham from an early stage.
It's difficult because Blood Destiny is a horse that I backed him for last year's Triumph, of course, and then he was deserted at the last moment when we all thought Cheltenham was going to ride him.
Still bitter.
He's a bit of a talented nutter, isn't he? Dysite Dynamo kind of mould, you know.
Yeah, it's not a bad chance.
When he's really good, he looks absolutely amazing.
That's a bit harsh on Blood Destiny, isn't it? I think.
But when he wins, he looks amazing. You think he's in it, but then is he just one of these horses who comes out and beats up on small fields, and then when he gets a big field race around Cheltenham,
Yeah, quite possibly.
Market strongly suggesting he's going to get back to winning ways against his old rival. He's 7-4 on at Hill, so that's just drifted somewhat. Spillane's Tower has won over the 2 miles, of course. When you look back to his Punchestown form, you could tell that Mark Walsh was just playing with him, and he just got his head in front right on the line. I don't worry about the drop back and drip of him. I'd still be with the
He probably is a
J.
better
Peels.
long-term prospect, Spillane's Tower. Like Bloodessy's pretty precocious, isn't he? But
One of a lot of shorties on the card then at Navan today, and we've got another one in the 4th-23, which is the Webster Cup chase. And A Journey With Me comes back out against Ashtree Meadow, who's been really busy. He's a lovely horse for Gordon Elliott.
Journey With Me does fall a little bit. Like he's fallen 3
4
of
to
his
5?
last 7 starts.
Yeah, Henry de Bromhead's horses are rocking and rolling, aren't they? This is probably, you would imagine, lining up for the,
Springfield, Aintree and Punchestown.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have thought so. Ashtree Meadow only raced last week, didn't he, behind Fernie Hollow?
Lucid Dreams is a nice horse as well. He runs off in front for John Ryan. Whether he's quite up to the classes, I don't know. But with fitness doubts about Journey With Me.
It's a weak grade 2 though, isn't it?
Well,
Like Journey With Me is not ready.
Fighting Fit's got frustrating profile, and God knows what's happened to Andy Dufresne. I don't know. Very promising horse as well back in the day.
Frustrating horse, isn't he, Andy Dufresne? He was the horse that they went for the big punt on in the Grand Annual
Yes.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was something like
when
that.
When it absolutely hacked it down on that Wednesday, and he got beaten by, I can't remember horse that made all, but Andy Dufresne was the only one who came from off the pace and just got caught out of his ground.
Have you ever been with Journey
Global
With
Citizen,
Me?
I think.
I remember Tom Collins when he worked at the Post thought this was the best horse
Don't
he'd
get
ever
me
seen.
started on him, mate.
Well, he's probably, he's a seriously prolific young man.
Beats
this
Robbie
TC.
Wilders.
Oh yeah, of course. He sat in his seat.
Yeah,
when
well,
he
he's
left.
my predecessor.
Oh my goodness gracious me, he'll be loving all this.
I'm only one, and I've got a lot of time for TC.
Yeah, he's
Shout out
brilliant,
to
isn't he?
TC.
Shout out to Tom Collins, all right, who we've already thrown him under the bus because he thought this was going to be, Courto style. Anyway, all right, great stuff. That's a look at Ireland. There's Leopardstown tomorrow as well, of course, and some good racing. They used to have those gallops, didn't they, at Leopardstown, but they curtailed that.
Yeah, I think Willie Mullins giving away too much.
Chris Cook did a good piece in the week on his
Keep
front
it under
runner.
his hat, doesn't he, old
Yeah.
Willie? Didn't want to show off too many of his jewels week before Cheltenham.
A couple of them fell one time, I seem to remember, and the markets just went haywire. Anyway, that's a look at Ireland. We're going to move on now because we're getting towards the business end of the show and have a look at the Cheltenham handicap entries and anything that might have caught the chaps' eyes out there, and indeed yours at home. Were you waiting for horses? Like, were there any that you really had on your radar and you're just thinking, I think I've worked it out, but I want to see what the handicap has gone for it, Rob?
Nah, not really. I don't really get too stuck. Like, I've properly immersed myself. Like, quite embarrassing. I spent a lot of my day off doing it the other day, just getting right stuck in. But it's quite enjoyable just seeing how, when the weights do publish, it starts to set the scene much better, because I always think it is a shame that we don't find them out much earlier. But yeah, I've got a few angles for sure, Dave, and I'm sure you have as well.
Very much so. And I was sort of, I have whittled them down a bit. King of Kingsfield is interesting in the county, isn't he? Because, he's a Grade 1 winner, if you like. Well, he's a Grade 1 second, sorry, to Farron Glory. And I think they thought he was going to be running in something like the Supreme or the Bowring Bingham. And he has got marker 140, and you can see the race setting up. He's a quick horse, I think.
The problem you've got with a lot of the Irish handicappers this year is they're all going to be very shorter than they should be, aren't they? I think this year, possibly more than any, you might well see the value is with the British, because everyone's talking about, the Irish are going to do, how many winners the Irish are going to have. I think that's going to take, 1 or 2 points off of almost all of the Irish horses, especially these sexy type ones like the Novices coming in like King of Kingsfield. I could see him going off a short price. Maybe he will win. I'm not saying he won't win, but we were talking about value earlier, weren't we, Rob? And I just wonder whether you're going to get value on those type of Irish handicappers now. I'm not sure you will.
I wanted to be with Absurd, and I think he's on we're talking about an E-ball winner who's chased home Vitor and not Vitor, I always get that one wrong. Who was the Royal Ascot winner?
Yeah, he's really well handicapped.
Yeah, Vauban, I always get them mixed up. That lives in my head rent free, I'm afraid.
He's really well handicapped on
He
his
is.
hurdles form.
He
On
needs
his
to.
platform,
He doesn't want. We should also talk about the long range forecast for Cheltenham. A lot being said about it now, but it's going to be soft on the opening day, isn't it? It's got to be looking at the.
Too soon to say, isn't it?
It doesn't look like it's dry anytime soon.
People always forecast the ground 2 weeks before Cheltenham, but it's just too soon. Things can change so quickly.
Well, I suppose suppose a lot of the horses that have been running as well have been on the sort of level playing field because it's all been wet, isn't it, pretty much? So we shouldn't worry about that.
It's far too soon because unless it rains on the day at Cheltenham, it never gets really, really testing there. It dries so fast. It really does at Cheltenham. I know they'll make sure there's plenty of water on it for the first day, so it certainly won't be any quicker than good to soft. But whether it will be soft yet, it's probably too early to say.
Can I give you the worst 6 results with William Hill in the handicaps when they went out? Interesting. King Kingsfield is on there. Jamie McBride has compiled these for us, the top trader. Samajest in the Martin Pipe. So much said about that. Handicapper came out with us this week and said hardest horse to assess since State Man.
Yeah.
That's in the Martin Pipe. That's Willie Mullins, of course. They're all a bit purring about that one.
That'll be short though, won't it? It'll be really short. Could be 7 to 2-ish.
Yeah. I saw Matty Williams in the Ultimate Guy put up the Goffer, who was, of course, cruising in the Ultima, shown no form whatsoever, but came back to life in a charity race the other week.
Yeah.
Was it Punchestown or something like that? He's absolutely hosed up. I didn't watch it, but I've seen it back, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that won a big race at Dublin Racing Festival, didn't it, last year? Was that right, I think, before going...
Yeah, after he ran at Warwick before that, didn't he?
Johnny Deneen has been going on left, right and centre about Crebley, who showed his true hand at Exeter. He looks well handicapped.
He won that race cosily from...
Awfully short, though. I mean, we're talking about like 4 to 1 in danger at the minute for the plate. That's madness. Yeah, because he will be ridden cold, I imagine, for a bit of the race.
Yeah, Sniper's Alley as well, as Melrose would call it. You know, like going in behind in those big handicaps.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's very, very difficult to win from well off the pace because so much happens in front of you.
You do see it, of course. Corrick Rambler did it, and the JP horses can do it, but I couldn't be with him at that price.
Only take something to fall in front of you, or
there you go. He's fours, look, with Hills. Theatre Man, yeah, you can see him going. I was listening to Richard Bandy's trainer. It looks like with the forecast as it is, he's going to be there. We're going to have a decent weights race, of course. Safarur is quite interesting, actually. San Felicien. Johnny Deneen was on the show, wasn't he? He said, I can't have him, he's all right. But he did win well at Gowan last time we saw him. Could that have been the plot for him?
He was sent off for the Coral Cup a couple of years ago as well.
Firm footings for Gordon Elliott. Looks like he's a player there. Anyway, that's worst result. He's bang up there, is Grebley. Chantry House in the Potemps.
Wow.
Oh.
Imagine.
Oh.
He's an old favourite, isn't he?
Well, because he has been, if he wins the Potemps, he has been perfectly campaigned.
He won't win the Potemps.
He's been running on late in these qualifiers. At the start of the season, I heard he was going well, and there he is. Look, Chantry's is 7s. They got a Carol N for JP. He looks like he's shown his hand a bit to me personally. What else do we like on that? Springwell Bay, a few people expecting him to come back. That form could be boosted today, Springwell's. Is it Doncaster? I think Rebecca Menzies, the horse that beat him.
Well, he's got good form, hasn't he? Because he ties in with Crambo, I think, doesn't he, from the race at Aintree last year. And then he came out and won at Cheltenham, didn't he, earlier in the season?
I love Cuthbert Dibble.
Yeah, I've backed Cuthbert Dibble. I like him.
I like him. My only worry about him, Rob, talk me out of this, is that I find with Nigel's horses in these handicap hurdles, they tend to just set it up for the Irish horses. I might be wrong. He's a very tough horse.
He's a good horse.
But he's a prominent racer. And
I was thinking he went off favourite for the EBF final that Crambo won last year. He's a kind of horse I could see being a Grade 1 staying hurdle.
It's unbelievable form, that, isn't it, that EBF final?
Oh, it always works out brilliantly. Etalon was another one around in it. He looks one of the best novice chasers around.
And to complete the list of 6, it's an old favourite, and it's kind of a goffer. It's in the Coral Cup.
Sam Majest again.
It's the Dan, the Langer.
Oh, Langer Dan, yeah.
People just thinking, yep, the sun is shining on my anti-post bets, and I'm just going to back.
He's off the same mark, isn't he, as last year? Shown absolutely nothing since.
Great for the game, though, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant for the festival.
I really enjoyed Dan Skelton's stable tour.
He's 7 to 1. Summer Jest is your well-backed favourite there.
I really enjoyed Dan Skelton's stable tour, which you can get on the Racing Post website. His Cheltenham Festival stable tour, and I think he said something along the lines of, everyone seems to think that that we've been taking it slowly with Langer Dan, but actually he's a very difficult horse. He's been a very difficult horse to get right all season.
Yeah.
He was kind of almost putting the excuses in there already for when he does bounce back to form at Cheltenham. But can I throw a couple your way?
Please.
I've backed 2 horses in the handicaps. One is No Ordinary Joe.
Oh man, you had to go there, didn't you?
What an eye-catcher he was last week at Kempton, running on from just off the pace.
Was it a bit too obvious?
Well, he's escaped a rise in the weights. So
Same mark, isn't it,
he
or
runs
something?
off the same mark. He's £1 higher than when he finished second in the Martin Pipe last year behind Iroko, who of course looks top class and will probably run in one of the graded novice chases there this year. He looked really well handicapped and he just shaped beautifully for a horse who was going to take a big step forward. I suspect again he'll go back for that Martin Pipe in which he was second last year.
Yeah, Twitter going mental after that. You know, I mean, it was quite enough weekend by anti-post standards last weekend, but everyone's going nuts about
It was
that.
a hugely eye-catching.
You're just always going to be vulnerable in a race like the Martin Pipe to a novice that we've barely seen. But yeah, I completely get that. If you're on a fancy price, then that's a nice ticket.
Castle de Motte was quite interesting on his Betfair run. I mean, Doddy the Great was in that. Doddy the Great's going to struggle to get in. I don't know if Castle de Motte might struggle to get in as well, but he wants a trip, I think. Built by Ballymore. I last looked at it, he was 20s. And he, for Martin Brassel, has been very interesting, and he looks on a good mark to me.
Brassel's a very good.
Just whatever turns up, you back him, don't you? And these handicaps, and he's 10s now with Hills, which means they've seen good support for him.
One thing I would say is you want to be backing these horses in the Coral Cup and Martin Pipe, non-run no bet, because it's basically the same race, and if you don't get, that's what I've been doing, and the same for the Ultra and the Kim Muir, because they've all got basically 2 entries.
Yeah, these are non-runner no bets, of course, but you're right. That's good
I've been
advice.
doing that, yeah. I think it's the safest way.
The other interesting one I thought was Pembroke, who I thought was given a proper sighter last week.
This could be the end of you, this project.
At Kempton when I napped him. He was very weak in the market, and I got the feeling that he wasn't going to win going into the race, and they went really, really hard on him from the front and ended up setting the race up for Blow Your Wad. But he was well beaten towards the end, but I don't think he was given a particularly hard time, and he still ran a very good time considering how far he was beaten, and considering that he set that pace as well. So not only did he run a good time, but he was responsible for setting that time, if
The
you know what I
betting
mean.
was very interesting in that race because the winner was the money horse, and Pembroke couldn't have been easier to back, really. Even Tamurus, who was boosted, you know, and like I say, Cobbers did as good as he could to get in that close.
Yeah, now, he's got 2 entries, Pembroke. He's got one in the plate, which we just saw Crebilia's short price for. The other one that I think he might be more interested for is the Grand Annual, because I think a 2-mile handicap chase might be ideal for Pembroke.
What heads the market here? Absolutely marvellous, isn't it?
Another old
Talking about
favourite.
projects that have nearly ended you.
Well, I don't think I'm going to end up being too far wrong about my mate Mossy. I kind of always said he was a Grade 1 horse, and Tom Siegel's actually tipped him for the Arkle, hasn't he? So
Yes.
whether he will run in the Johnny Anderson Grand
Steam
Annual.
coming out of his ears, isn't he, about that, Tom?
So we'll see. I mean, he's a funny, talented animal, isn't he, my mate Mozzie? I couldn't be having him at that sort of price in this. I mean, Pembroke's a massive old price, I think. So
The winner's on there. I'll tell you what, a word from Madara, who's just been fantastic this season. I just wonder who's a little bit high in the weights now.
Sophie
Path
Leach's.
Daru, who followed him home at Leopardstown, watch that back. I backed him in the County Hurdle last year. He was cruising, he ended up pulling up. Something was amiss that day, I think. But he's, for Graven Cromwell, William Hill Ambassador. He could make 12 to 1 at Tasty, I think.
I mean, these are the races now. At the modern day Cheltenham Festival, these are the races that really get us punters excited, aren't
Correct.
they? The handicap. There's all these short price Mullins favourites in the graded races, for me, are a bit of a turn off. But I love these handicaps who really get stuck in and get some good prices about some really good horses.
And Sam, I mean, the top 2 in that market are actually, they're properly trolling you, those 2, aren't they? Because
Saint Ra. Yeah, another one, isn't he?
County Hurdle winner, of course, and a Grade 1 Novice Chase winner. What wins the Grand Annual, Rob? Have you got any sighters there?
I've backed Liberty Hunter. I know. I feel like a few people have. Just a really, really good run.
Love the ground, I think, if it keeps on as it is.
Put up a really good RPR when he beat the Twisted Matata, who's come out and run well since. I've also backed a sneaky one, Pinkerton, for Noel Mead. He was about 7th in the County Hurdle last year. He's off a slightly lower chase mark. It's just a kind of profile that he's been targeted at the spring festivals. A couple of eye-catching runs in beginners chases behind horses like Imagine. So they're the 2 at the moment. I think of the handicaps, the Grand Annual is probably the weakest. It's got the fewest entries by far, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they struggle to get a full field, to be honest. So I think this is like a nice race to play anti-post at the moment. They probably will.
Full field at Cheltenham.
I mean, it probably will, but I don't think it's a strong handicap compared to the rest.
You've been sitting next to him too long, I think, saying
Maybe.
that.
No, I might take it back a bit. They're going to get full field, aren't they?
They are.
It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be hard to get into. Like,
it's not going to be the hardest race to win.
Low-weighted runners get in.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there you are then. There's a look at the handicaps, and I think, like I say, got last year's winner on there, Mascada, but I think Partheru might be one there. And good luck with your projects.
Thank you.
No Ordinary Joe, I think I can see, and I can't see the other one.
Broke.
No. All right. Okay. But that's opinions, isn't it? That's what it's all about. And there are the Cheltenham handicap entries done for you. It's time to move on to the business end of the race and some more boosts coming your way, because I believe it's nap time, isn't it? Well done, gents. Look, 11:07. There we go. Sharp, sharp, sharp pace. And, well, shall I get it going?
Well, we're going to need one from you soon, mate.
We are going to need one from you soon. I'm going to look actually soon what they are boosting this out to. But let me give you the case of Can Do Kid in the opener at Kelso, going up against Kelso.
The
Kaluki Kid. Sorry. What did I say? Can Do Kid.
I almost postponed this horse at the start of the week.
Now.
I'm singing from the
You're pleased that you didn't now, aren't you?
Because lots of people are going to the lay columns as they speak. Quite rightly so.
He was initially jocked up for the Premier Novices Hurdle.
Which I backed him for.
Did you?
Yes.
He was like 14-1 for this.
Now this is Jericho de Repene form, right?
Yeah.
And he was over the wrong trip at Doncaster. Watch it back in your members club. He's also been following this season. At Musselburgh, he looked mustard. You could tell that Nicky Richards had a very good horse. And then he went to Newcastle and defied odds, won as he liked. And they run him over the wrong trip, basically. And everyone thought that Jericho de Repene looked a little bit lazy, a little bit disappointing in that race. But this is going to boost the form, I think. He's off a mark of 1-2-4. The team must have looked at those races. I backed him at 12s for the Premier Grade 2. And he was the same price when the market opened up for the handicap.
I know, we missed one there, mate. I was very nearly put him up for the handicap, but I didn't fancy him in the thing.
And I looked after about an hour and it was starting to crash, so I jumped on a little bit. But 5-2 is a proper plunge now. He's just a very good horse.
He's a bit short,
and he's very well handicapped.
I think he is on a good mark of 124.
Let me see what the boost is while you talk about your nap.
Dave Orton's day is coming today.
Oh, let's hope so.
And Robbie Wiles is coming through Al Lamb, hopefully. Obviously touched upon it earlier. Good time at Kelso 15 days ago. Won a canter, really good breeding. Should be better suited by bit quicker ground, strong down the flat. I think he's got the odds are underestimating him there. And for you, Rodders.
Yeah, I'm due a winner actually. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it, since my last one, having gone 3 in a row. I'm with Commodore in the 120 at Newbury, which is the veterans chase. One of Venetia Williams's will love the heavy ground. Might be well named Commodore because you might need a boat to get through the puddles on the track. At Newbury, but he's £5 lower than when he won first time up at Cheltenham in December 2021 off a long layoff. He ran his best race last season first time up. All of his best form comes when he's fresh. He's coming in off a long break, and he loves heavy ground. I mean,
you're boosted to 5s.
Commodore boosted to 5s.
Which means they're respecting you, because they usually, you know what I mean, they could have put another 0 on that if they didn't fancy it.
And I see Jamie McBride's going for another one that I
There's
fancy
a clash.
as well, Brucio.
This is your selection. There's a clash with Robbie. Yeah, Jamie's going for the boosted Brucio. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go to the app, go to the website now. You try and back these. They're live on the site. Also out to 5-1 is Brucio, so we're giving you an extra point on that. Clashing with your Owler Dam. Does that say 8s? It does. What's the boost for that? I'm assuming it's going to be 10s or something like that. I'll have to back him at 10s, Rob.
10's a huge price, yeah.
It is 10s.
He'll go off shorter than that, I'd say.
You better get on your app quick.
I can't bet William Hill, mate, unfortunately.
Oh, right, okay. Too much. They did call you a
Friends
pest.
of the show.
They did call you a pest.
I'm a little pest.
Johnny Simpson thinks you're a pest.
But on a William Hill bet after getting the shop, which I could do.
Mine's out to 7-2, which is that is a much more palatable price. There are the naps for this Saturday. It's been great fun here on the Morning Post, having you with us for the last hour or so. Honestly, great talk of Cheltenham, talk of Ireland today, of course, and the Saturday previews. All right, looking forward to it, gents. What's the rest of the day hold?
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. I half considered going down to Newbury. It's so far, and with the way the ground's gone, I think I'll just go straight home and watch it on the TV. But there's loads of sport on TV again today, isn't there, Dave? So I'll be watching all sorts of football, racing, Can't wait to watch it all.
All this nonsense about not betting before Cheltenham, you know, it's just, these are great races in their own right, aren't they? And I can't wait to solve these puzzles. It's going to be a great afternoon. Rob, what about yourself?
A lot of big
Brunching.
pots. Nah, I don't know.
Brunching with the lady.
I don't know where you conjured that idea from. I was going to go for a run before I came back and then had my breakfast and watched the racing. Going to a comedy club tonight as well.
Ah, there you are. Are you
So
appearing?
that's something on, isn't it? I wouldn't mind writing stand-up material. I don't think it's as hard as people think. I think presenting it is difficult.
I could see Dave, like if you wrote for Dave,
I could write material.
and Dave could do the
know his style.
comedy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Dave's the sort of guy that
He's
could
the sort of
present
guy.
it.
Yeah, I could see him up there.
I've recently gone freelance and I need work, so I'll be turning that one down, actually, Rob.
Phone's not
But
ringing.
listen, if you want to send me some scripts, I know some people will probably be
Let's
mad
have
enough.
them.
Anyway, brilliant stuff. Well done to the guys in the gallery as well. Wonderful to you for watching. This has been the Morning Post. Like, subscribe, comment and share. Good luck pot hunting today. All those boosts are out there. You better get involved. Enjoy it.